Today marks 1621st day of day lessons, day reflections. And yesterday I reflected about unpredictability. There are so many things that we cannot predict, and that's why sometimes life is extremely interesting. But today I was thinking that if there is something that is unpredictable, that means there is a lot of things that is predictable about life, about living a meaningful, ambitious life, meaningful in any way life. And today we'll share seven predictable things that might happen or will happen and most likely happen in every single person's life, because I think there is so much more about unpredictability. There's so much more about predictability, and I think that's again very great topic to really discuss what is predictable in life and what is unpredictable. And when we know this and we know what's the difference between those, I think we're able to really adjust our expectations and really move in life with more joy because of that. So let's get started. So, number one, meaning is not discovered, it's assigned. It's interesting because meaning is when you're born, you don't have a meaning. But for life, when you really have experiences, you learn your strengths, you have weaknesses, you start to assign yourself a meaning to different things. It's interesting because two people have exactly the same experience, but they adopt different meaning to the same event. And I think that that's again very predictable. So when you see that two people, 10 people, 20 people go exactly the same event, predictable is that every single person will have a different experience, different meaning, different expectations. Everything will be different. And I think that sometimes is foolish to believe that every single person will have the same lessons from the same conference seminar. And that's this beautiful thing when we predict that there will be so many different ideas, and being able to gather it from every single person. I think that's again very beautiful thing and predictable thing. Number two, you cannot optimize everything. Trade-offs are unavoidable. And this is the topic that I was struggling for a long time. I really wanted to fit everything into my schedule, and there's so many great things to do. And I always was very curious. So always wanted to do this one and this one and this one and this one. There's so many things to put into my schedule because I'm just so excited to do so many different things. And I wanted to optimize things that I could do so many different things. And I learned that it is impossible. And that's why you always need to make trade-offs. For example, I love playing video games. I used to like playing Counter-Strike back in the day, but I didn't play games for more than 15 years maybe because they are not in a priority list. So I made a trade-off not to play games because there's other things that I enjoy more than playing games. Even though that's playing games is potentially a great way to really spend your time, but when I choose where I prioritize I realize that I have other things to do. I love to go to a gym. I love reading a book. I love connecting with people. Is much more than really playing games. So that again, you cannot optimize everything, and that's predictable. And that's something I think predict that we'll need to make trade-offs. Some other people say sacrifices, but I like more trade-off. Number three, you're always becoming something. You're always becoming something, whether you intentional or not. And this is a big, big thing. It's predictable that you living your life, you're becoming somebody. Somebody. And sometimes people are very intentional who they want to become, and this is what I'm seeking. This is I have 10-year vision of who I want to become, and I'm going towards it. But if you don't have that intention, you will achieve that 10 years version of you. It was by default. I really love saying that I want to help people to live a life by design, not by default. I was living for a long time, all the way till 25, maybe 26, 27. But at 25, I started to really adjust the way how I think. All the way till 25, I was living by default, by culture norms, by the things that I learned from society, from my friends. And when I started to really grow myself, of course, it doesn't come overnight. So it took me a couple of years when I started to look into how I could design my life that I could enjoy, and it'll bring more joy and bliss into my life. And not right away, of course, but I think that again, you becoming somebody, intentionally or not. I really love the book by John C. Maxwell, Intentional Living, because that's how we're supposed to live intentionally. Number four, you don't experience reality, you experience a constructed model. And this is a big thing. And again, this is a predictable thing that every single person doesn't experience life as it is. We experience life as we construct it to be. And again, there's the same topic that we can have exactly the same experience, but we'll have total different meaning from the same experience. Going to the same event, but we will see that event totally differently. And because of that, it compounds over time. And some person could see life negatively, and the other person will see it positively only by how we construct our realities. And that's like how dangerous is to really allow just by ourselves to sit down and really think about life and really be close minded and rigid and say this is how it is and black and white thinking. I think one of the best ways to go to negative life, because life is so much gray areas, and I think that the older I get, the more gray I become. When I used to be very young, I liked to be some this black and white. This is one way or another. But the more growth I did, the more I realized there is so much gray areas that we need to really consider before we really making decision. Number five, you are in constant negotiation between short-term and long-term self. And this is predictable. This is predictable that you will need to really have that conversation. What I will do right now. Do I pursue short term pleasure or short term sacrifice for long term success? And how much could I sacrifice short term for the long term? Because we need to have some kind of wins to really have the still energy and poise and confidence and courage. And we need to have some kind of small wins today, just we can keep going. Because if you sacrifice 100% today for tomorrow, it's very very hard to really to keep going with enthusiasm. So having that conversation, and it's predictable that we will have that conversation in our mind. What should I do? Because I know that some people live just today, YOLO. We young only once. And I think that they will pay the price later, because I literally love saying that every single person will pay the price. But if you pay the price later, that price will be with interest. You'll pay even more than a person who pays right now. Number six, you will protect your ego even when it costs your growth. That is predictable. That is predictable that our ego will want to protect ourselves. And what that means is that sometimes we will not ask when we needed to because we didn't understand, but don't want to be seen silly, stupid, and unwise. And again, there's a lot of different ways that we resist potentially some truths. We don't face the truths, don't accept the truths, don't go through it. We avoid it. There are so many things that potentially what we want to protect ourselves, our ego, and that is slowing down our growth. And that is predictable that some people are probably better to handle it, some people are worse. But I think that every single person has it, because ego is in general is a good thing because to protect ourselves. But when ego is taking control of our actions and decisions and choices, at that moment, that's where it becomes unhealthy. And last one, number seven, is you will die with incomplete understanding. That's a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful statement. You will die with incomplete understanding. That means that you will never understand everything. You'll never get all wisdom. You'll never be ready for things. And that's again when people say, "Oh, I just need to get a little bit more ready." When I will have this kind of knowledge, then I will pursue it. And now it gives you some kind of grounding, knowing that you will never know everything. You will never have full understanding. You will die even with incomplete understanding. And if I die with incomplete understanding, no matter what I do, no matter what I do, maybe I could start doing things that I want to do sooner than later. And I think it's a beautiful thing. And it's predictable that we will want more information to pursue things. Now, I know that there's no advice that fits 100% because some people just always take action without really looking to any information. And this kind of person who always takes action and never looks information, maybe the first thing that they could do really look for information. But if, but not majority of the time, 80%, 90% of people have more than enough information to really take action, but they still avoid to take action. And what they need to understand that we will die with incomplete understanding. And if that's, and we need to be okay with that we will not have that complete understanding and we need to take action anyway. And it's a beautiful thing. So those 7 things that I shared is very, very predictable that most likely every single person will go through in life just to make sure that we become the best version of ourselves. We need to really handle them in the best possible way. So I hope you choose to win and see you tomorrow.